Hello and welcome to Week 5, Day 3 of the LPL. Once again, I am Stan Greyheart Barker, and it is my pleasure to be joined by Alex Bliss Stinson.
What a pleasure it is to be here yet again with you, and this time we got one amazing game in our hands, Rogue Warriors vs Edward Gaming, and we're talking about the top dogs of each group.
We have got EDG who lie top of the West group at 6 wins and 1 loss, ahead only on games lost over the side of Snake Esports, who are 6 and 2. Rogue Warriors, they're currently lying second place in the East box, also at 6 wins and 2 losses.
So this is going to be a really huge deciding match on what is upcoming in the LPL. Both Rogue Warriors and Edward Gaming are supposed to be the innovators of the LPL. All the lower or the medium teams are looking up to them, trying to follow the meta they create. So let's see what happens right here, because this is the last time we do see 8.2 patch being played, and after that, it's innovation time.
Alrighty, coaches Stake and Nofe are guiding their teams through the pick ban phase. The bans have already come through for round 1, and the first pickup for Rogue Warriors is Kog'Maw.
Kog'Maw with its stunning 33% win rate. Like, statistics say that you should probably not first pick something like that, but yet Rogue Warriors have not disappointed us too much in the past, so we wouldn't be wise to ignore them or actually doubt them. Right here, the instant answer is the absolute lane bully of bot lane, Caitlyn, being picked up, which is also one of the most powerful ADCs in the bot lane, and Jarvan, really powerful versus static ADCs as a Kog'Maw.
So 2 champions there who are going to hope to bully that Kog'Maw and be able to pick up kills onto him later in the game. Someone who's going to hope to deny that though, Bliss, is Tahm Kench, and that's who Killua will be playing.
Although I love Tahm Kench as a pick, because it provides with loads of escape for static ADCs like Kog'Maw, it's one of those supports that really have not the capacity to escape a Jarvan gank, so it's a little bit of a double-edged sword right here that Tahm Kench being locked up by Rogue Warriors. But Ryze is going to be the roaming mid laner that is going to compensate for the bot lane's weaknesses.
He certainly is. That one is locked in. Meanwhile, Scout on EDG has locked in the Talia to finish off that round of picks. As we head into the next part of the ban phase, we're going to see a lot of top and jungle bans.
Talia versus Ryze is a really nice matchup for Scout. It's one he has played many times too, so we're expecting some very easy laning for Scout in the mid lane. And right now, with the upcoming bans being focused mostly on the top lane and the support, I'm expecting a lot of junglers to come out from Edward Gaming. Camille is actually one of those champions that count as a flex right here, and the most banned champion in the entire LPL.
And most importantly, it's a flex between top lane and jungle, the 2 roles which we haven't seen Rogue Warriors pick up. Final ban coming out of EDG is Lee Sin, taking that one away from Flawless.
Good old Lee Sin, still being very powerful right here. Not so much in a few days where Tracker's Knife and Sison will both say goodbye, but yeah, there it is. Lee Sin is gonna get banned out. Of course, it makes sense against the Rogue Warriors, and Sin will be the last ban of the game 1. One very powerful blind pick, which is definitely a huge counter to Kog'Maw too.
Okay, so we are getting into the next stage of picks. We're going to see just how much Rogue Warriors build around this Kog'Maw. They're not going to be able to pick up a Janna to support, which they wouldn't want to anyway because they've got a Tahm Kench, because EDG have picked up that Janna.
So Janna, along with Caitlyn, they're gonna have one and only job. They have to power shove that bot lane, keep Kog'Maw and Tahm Kench pinned under their tower, make them subject to easy dives, or give enough space to Harrow to go for those actual invades in the lower side of the map.
There's a champion I have been hearing a lot about recently, and it is Kha'Zix. This is a champ who can super heavily affect the early game with his potential to invade enemy junglers and do true damage. Well, a super amount of damage to them with the isolation. That one's been locked in, and Flawless will happily take that one.
So yeah, Kha'Zix is the go-to pick against Jarvan. Of course, that is no surprise. It's just a really good matchup into the jungle, especially in the 1 versus 1 skirmishes. And Sion is a blind pick. Right here, Rogue Warriors basically picked one of the most successful top laners in the game. 55% win rate for Sion, and that's most probably against Gnar, because that's the matchup we do see the most. It's Sion versus Gnar. Right here, Sion makes a lot of sense.
So Sion is locked in. The Gangplank is going to be opposite the Sion. Just 2 days ago, we had the opportunity to cast a game Bliss where we saw the Sion stealing a Baron. It was empowered by Marin in that game. The summoner who will be responsible this time for the Sion's control is Mouse, and he's going to have to play against Raze, top lane Gangplank.
Gangplank is also one of those really successful champions. 47% win rate doesn't really say a lot because it creates a lot of pressure, and it's 100% blind pick most of the times because it's so powerful. You either blind pick it or you lose it, and no team has ever risked that till now.
So the compositions are completed, the teams are jumping onto the Rift. Stake and Nofe have the traditional handshake as they have done all they can to get their teams onto a successful start to this best of 3 series. Here we go, the crowd's getting excited. Who's going to pick up this win, Rogue Warriors or Edward Gaming?
I have to say, Greyheart, Edward Gaming are looking really good in terms of draft. Like, the Caitlyn Janna are gonna apply a lot of pressure, but they have to be very careful of that Sion. When you get shoving bot lanes like that, you're subject to really easy ganks from Sion roaming after level 6 and lane ganking with his unstoppable onslaught.
Let's see just how much the two teams are able to use those compositions. I also very much like the Edward Gaming composition. However, the slight lack of tankiness apart from the potential Cinderhulk build for Jarvan does make me think that Rogue Warriors could have some potential win game conditions as the late game approaches. Both of these two teams on the back of a win last week. We saw the side of Rogue Warriors beating Billy, who are now at 6-4 in the East group, and we saw the side of Edward Gaming beating Suning. Now both of those teams have beaten teams that have helped their opposition in this particular game, because those two teams dropped down the standings as a result.
And overall, we can see the team lineups. They are both playmaking mid laner roamer lineups that really consist of sturdy lanes and, of course, a lot of pressure and global control. So there it is, Edward Gaming and Rogue Warriors starting right off.
We are on to the Rift, and the beautiful overhead view we get panning out as the crowd echoes their resounding chants for the two teams. Will it be Rogue Warriors? Will it be Edward Gaming? We're going to see a fairly safe start with no jungle invade looking likely.
I don't really know what they have in their minds. It is worded though, so Edward Gaming are going to give a lot of information right off the bat to Rogue Warriors, who seem like they know exactly what to expect from the Eastern Group's champions.
Well, at the very least, the side of Edward Gaming were able to get that ward down. They now know that Kha'Zix will not be starting his red buff. He instead wanders to the top side of the map and is going to be helped out by Sion taking the blue.
How many unsealed spellbooks? It's 5 out of 10. That's a pretty good score, I would have to say. Yeah, like, having that unsealed spellbook onto Caitlyn is definitely going to give you the advantage of having a lot of pressure in the early game, and also he can take a lot of worry out of herself later on in the main and late game with possibly a cleanse or even a barrier if Kha'Zix shows up and pops off.
Alrighty, here we go. Early trades, unsurprisingly going quite nicely for the EDG bot lane. This is one of the final games we're going to get the opportunity to cast that really has this unsealed spellbook and pocket watch meta. And even though some people have got bored of the constant pocket watch plays on the tower, I'm pretty excited to see them in this game.
It's 8 out of 10 stopwatches. Is possibly one of the last times we're going to see that, because very, very soon we're going to see stopwatch being nerfed to 10 minutes starting time. And 70% favoring Edward Gaming. That, of course, makes a lot of sense considering the standings. But Harrow, level 2 with double buff, looking for Kha'Zix in his own jungle.
Not quite going to find him though. Demacian Standard placed in the red buff zone, while Kha'Zix was happily taking away the Raptors.
And now he is actually trapped in the lower side of the jungle. That means that Flawless knows he's gonna go for the lower crab. He doesn't have to rush for the upper crab since he knows he's in the lower side of the jungle. He can actually take his wolves without being in a rush and power farm through his level 4.
I have to say the side of Rogue Warriors are doing a really, really good job of trading back the poke onto iBoy and Mako. This could have been a lane where actually EDG just completely bullied Rogue Warriors, but it's not working out that same way so far with the damage trades equal and the CS, as we see yet again SMLZ putting a good bit of damage onto iBoy.
That is really the power of a Kog'Maw, because he is one of the few champions that can actually have the same range with a Caitlyn, considering his Bioarcane Barrage is also used effectively. And of course, along with the Doran Seal, he has enough sustain to actually lane and even possibly beat Caitlyn in laning phase.
Alrighty, Flawless doing just what Harrow did a moment or two ago, looking for the invade, but yet again, as we see the Jarvan taking away his Raptors, the two junglers not quite colliding yet.
I'm not really expecting for either jungler to solve up on the bot lane before we do see teleports being used. When we do see that, a little bit of pressure is going to fall off from Edward Gaming and Rogue Warriors when it comes to the bot lane. They're not going to be afraid of that global control, and that is when I expect both junglers to apply their pressure by invading or going for their first attempts.
Alright, let's see what happens as we get closer and closer to those level 6, the big opportunities for Rome, as you talk about there, Bliss. It's all going to be, well, it's not all going to be decided early on with who makes the better plays, but a big part of this game and who controls it heading into mid-game certainly will be.
Flawless, just applying some sneaky vision, already 2 control words in the jungle of Harrow, and now he gets spotted. Flawless is right there, another control word, and they seem to be really decided on this one. There comes a Blastcone, it is going to be a dive.
Alright, here we go, 3 members top side of Rogue Warrior. Scout yet to join his team. It looks like we're going to see the dive. Here it comes. We have hit 5 minutes, so the Zhonya's are available. Stopwatch not used in time by Gangplank. He goes down for first blood. Sion picks that one up. Flash away now as Scout joins his team, but it's too late to do anything. Down goes Ray, and that's going to be a kill picked up for Mouse.
Very clean gameplay from Rogue Warriors. The instant flash by Mouse, not really gambling with his life right there just to be greedy with the flash. He just goes away, he grabs that first blood, and they're going back very, very satisfied.
So what do we see burned on that one? We see the flash burned out of both Mouse and also from Doinby, and we see that the flash is burned from Ray and also Harrow. Meanwhile in bot lane, SMLZ trades out for a teleport and comes right back to mid lane. Sorry, bot lane.
Is that a lane swap? Mouse actually teleporting through that mid lane. He just shoved the lane, making sure it's not going to get put under the tower of Doinby, who was actually late to his own tower. And now he's transitioning to top lane. That's actually terrific rotations from the team of Rogue Warriors.
Speaking of rotations, there is consistent jungle pressure being put down by both Harrow and Flawless into each other's jungles. This time Harrow's the one who comes up good, stealing away a couple of Raptors.
Right here we do have 4 teleports from the team of Rogue Warriors. They are all on cooldown, but not for long, so be very, very aware, Edward Gaming. This is a really good opportunity for a gank to happen while they're very, very weak. And also, let's not forget that the stopwatches are now available, so there's great outplay potential.
Alrighty, here in the bot lane, the shove has started in earnest coming from EDG. iBoy finally managing to harass SMLZ. He's getting himself an 8 CS lead at this point. Is that enough in this early game from this harassing duo?
Well, the CS lead might not be as significant, but BF over Pickaxe definitely is. And right here, iBoy is gonna apply pressure not just on SMLZ, but also on his tower. And let's not forget, Caitlyn's first objective into a game is always a tower first blood.
Still looking out for our first potential Realm Warp and Weaver's Wall plays, Bliss. Just how crucial could they be to the result of this game?
Well, the lower quadrant is very, very visible by Edward Gaming. They see the future right there, so a possible roam and dive on the bot side could be possible, but stopwatches are there, so they have to be very careful with their decisions. They're not gonna go for it, but it's definitely on the map and a very possible solution.
Harrow and Flawless yet again dueling in Flawless's jungle. Flawless takes away the red buff. Harrow's caught out. The Doinby is here because of the Realm Warp, and that's going to be a kill for Flawless. Harrow oversteps by quite a long way and pays the penalty.
And that is why Kha'Zix is the most picked jungler versus Jarvan. He has the capacity of dodging the knockup, and after that, he's so powerful 1 versus 1, while Jarvan is being punished for his long cooldowns.
So there we go, the first Realm Warp indeed delivered a kill, and it's going to be 2 assists now on Ryze, who's already got that tier stacking. Things looking pretty good for Rogue Warriors.
I have to say, when you play such a heavy scaling composition with Kog'Maw and Ryze, starting off just like that seems dreamy for the team of Rogue Warriors. And Edward Gaming have heavily invested into Vision, both top side and bot side, for 2 ganks in a row. So that means they have already spent a lot of their gold into something that didn't give them any profit.
There's a lot of teleports available right now, Bliss, and I'm just wondering if we're going to see some style of Fnatic multiple-person teleport play coming through. SMLZ going very, very low to the Piltover over Peacemaker, but Killua doing a nice job of harassing the EDG bot lane, so that it's not all that bad for Kog'Maw.
Well, Rogue Warriors right here know they have to head back and give the Tower First Blood away, so 2 kills for a Tower First Blood is definitely an even trade. Oh!
SMLZ gets away just in time, the recall completed, but here come the teleports from Rogue Warriors. This is going to be 4 versus 4 in the bot lane, and it is Harrow who's going lower and lower, uses the stopwatch to stay alive, but with the cannon barrage coming down, Flawless picks up a kill onto Harrow, flashed away from Doinby, keeps him away from Scout. Scout uses the Weaver's Wall to separate the 4 members of Rogue Warriors, but it looks like the only kill that's going to happen in this trade is Harrow, who goes down, despite the fact EDG get the first turret blood.
1 kill compensation for Tower First Blood, and all that with double teleport and flash used by Doinby. I mean, sure, it's not bad to always have compensation for objectives you know you're gonna lose, but this is too much of a cost. Right here, those teleports can be punished in a way that this kill seems insignificant.
So just what are EDG going to do then, Bliss, to punish the use of those teleports which came to so little fruition? There is no gold lead in the side of Rogue Warriors despite the 3 kill advantage because of that turret first blood.
There's no doubt we're going to see Mountain Drake being contested pretty soon, because this is one of the most important Drakes when you're playing against scaling compositions. You need that extra objective damage to make sure they do not turtle and keep themselves away from a very fast loss.
So Bliss, earlier on you were talking about just how crucial it was that we saw the BF sword for Caitlyn at the same time as the pickaxe for Kog'Maw. We're now looking at a pickaxe and a recurve bow along with the magical booties for the Kog'Maw. Meanwhile, we've got the Zeal completed along the BF sword and the Cull being slowly counted down for Caitlyn.
That is definitely a good option when you know you're getting outscaled. Of course, Caitlyn is one of those champions that have a pretty weak mid game, so it's always nice to make sure that if you're weak mid game, at least you have the gold advantage. So I'm really liking the call right here, and most importantly, I like the fact that the stopwatches are also available and not wasted.
Alrighty, so we are 11 minutes in. There is a Mountain Drake available. Herald has now stepped onto the rift, so there is the opportunity for one of these 2 teams to start thinking about picking Shelly up to crash down onto the turrets. Right now, though, we're going to see a lane trade as SMLZ and Killua, they come into the mid lane for Rogue Warriors.
Well, there comes the Mountain Drake. They're definitely preparing to go for it if no better opportunity shows up. So what we are seeing right now, we should get used to. Janna, Caitlyn, and Jarvan are a really strong trio of both frontline and burst. So right here, oh, Killua,
yeah,
happy feet.
Decent bit of damage coming down onto SMLZ from Scout, but it's not going to be enough to be able to force Rogue Warriors away from that bottom turret. Vision being contested around this Mountain Dragon, and things looking good for EDG. He might have caught Killua. No, he's safe enough.
Killua is just getting a lot of damage on himself. Of course, he has one of the best regenerations in the game. He doesn't really care. But the most important thing right now is to look at the lane assignments of Edward Gaming. Gangplank is gonna stay on that top lane, wave clear to death until he has that Trinity Force. On the bot side, we are most probably gonna see Scout, although Talia is not really the kind of champion that shows up when he's stacked on the bot lane. He needs to be in the center of the map and available for Weaver's Wall in every little corner of it.
So, going back to that top lane that you were just talking about, Trinity Force has just been completed by the Gangplank. So here's
it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice position for him to be in. Meanwhile, Sion recalls, and it's going to be a Righteous Glory and Ninja Tabby picked up for the top laner of Rogue Warriors.
Basically, right here, Ray is outscaling and is really strong against Mouse. Because we don't see an extreme amount of armor being stacked from Mouse. Of course, he can survive and sustain through the lane, but picking Righteous Glory is one of those items that is designed to actually snowball you team-wise. You need to group, you need to abuse its stats and its active just to make sure that you're not losing your opportunities, because Gangplank late game, you know, can't be compared to a Sion anymore.
Bliss, we're looking at a situation here that isn't that common. We are 14 minutes into the game, and the side of EDG have got themselves a 300 gold lead, despite the fact they've got that 20 CS deficit in the top lane, and also 3 kills down.
Well, I like the pressure in the mid lane. They have to be careful of that Weaver's Wall. If Kongwa gets caught out of it, he's definitely going to have to burn his flash. Right here, Flawless just regrouping with his own team.
We didn't see it on screen.
Edward Gaming showing a lot of respect to Sion, you see? Like, every time he disappears from the top side, they're very aware of that unstoppable onslaught being there, so they have to retreat and not actually go for the tower damage.
Exactly right. I was literally just about to say how we heard the roar coming out of the Undead General's unstoppable onslaught. We didn't see it on the screen, but the side of EDG respected it. They stepped away. They don't give up any kills as a result, and now that Sion has burned that ultimate and returns to the top lane, the push continues.
Well, TikTok, Edward Gaming, Raid's Blade is complete. Road of Ages 2, and not even a stopwatch is being burned, so this is a really good event for the team of Rogue Warriors. They're not being pressured, they've only lost the tower to Caitlyn, which is pretty expected, and Mouse is even doing really well against Ray on top lane. I would be so happy if I was Rogue Warriors.
He really is. Ray having a rough time of it up against Mouse since the completion of the Righteous Glory, and you're going to see the Cannon Barrage coming out of Gangplank just to try and get himself a little bit of farm, but it's not going to clear most of the minions. He's going to lose a lot here.
He's basically wave clearing to protect his own tower, and he is afraid of getting dove with that mana pool, so he is going to get out. But right here, Mouse has a really good chance to get some tower damage.
So one thing that I'm really fascinated by, Bliss, and I'd love to know your thoughts on, is the fact that Jarvan has gone for the Warrior enchant onto his Tracker's Knife, which means that we're not going to see that slightly tankier Cinder Hulk build for Jarvan as we see the Mountain Dragon started up by Rogue Warriors.
That is a little bit new, to say the truth. Right here, I wasn't expecting Rogue Warriors to be grabbing the Mountain Drake. I was 100% sure Edward Gaming, with their Caitlyn advantage, with the traps, with the bot lane shove, are going to go for it. But turns out Rogue Warriors are going to be the ones to get it. And when you see Jarvan, you see a 0-2 Jarvan that hasn't snowballed really well through the early game. And also, you do see an Edward Gaming that obviously lacks frontline. So, I can't say I agree 100% with Edward Gaming on this, but it's definitely something unique.
Here comes the unstoppable onslaught. Ray doesn't manage to land the knockup, but we are going to see a stopwatch already burned by Ray as he is going down on Gangplank. It was Mouse who came up, did all the work, but on B, he's the one who picks up the kill on the back of the beautiful Sion play.
And the Abyssal Voice can be counted as a little bit of an overkill right there, but you need to make sure you're not getting out-rotated. You need to make sure that someone doesn't show up there and ruin your plan. And of course, this is going to cost their mid lane tower, but they're going to get the top lane as a result of it. Yeah,
it'll be a first turret for Rogue Warriors, and they've also picked up their 4th kill, getting it onto one of their carries. They'll be delighted with that one. I've seen some pings going down towards the Herald, and it looks like the side of Rogue Warriors might want to be putting that Mountain Dragon damage to good use.
Right here, Edward Gaming are not afraid of the Unstoppable Onslaught. They know it's on cooldown. All of their threats lie with the Warp Gate of doing B, which is also on cooldown. So right here, they can actually try and go for the tower. That's exactly what they're doing, and the Weaver's Wall is going to cap them off from any backup.
SMLZ had just teleported in, and we're going to see Flawless coming around backside. This is 4 versus 3 in the mid lane. Turret goes down, but Ivory's taken super low. Janna Monsoon will save his life, but he goes down to Rise. There goes the Caitlyn. Now what else can RW do with this? They've got themselves 5 people in the mid lane. Will they be able to push down the mid turret?
Rogue Warriors know exactly what kind of pressure Caitlyn packs on towers, and it's their distraction so early, so they know there's nothing they can do about it, but the only thing they can do is compensate themselves with the overextension when they try to get it. And for every single tower, there has been a kill picked up by Rogue Warriors.
iBoy burns flash, burns heal, Janna Monsoon used as well to try and save the life of the ADC of EDG, all to no avail. Down goes iBoy, second kill for Doinb, and now things are starting to look a little bit worrisome for EDG.
I'm amazed by the beauty of macro trading Rogue Warriors are displaying right here.
Here's your fight.
Basically, they cannot go for a tower, they know they're gonna lose one, and
Flawless.
yeah, the fight, just look at this beautiful flank by Flawless, completely catches by surprise iBoy, and just doing the cleaning up, very easy kill. And the death timer of iBoy was punished also with severe tower damage and a Rift Herald.
It certainly was. So again, EDG take a turret, but lose a life whilst doing it. And iBoy's now gone behind in CS to this Rage Blade Cogmore, despite having had that early advantage and all of the pushing the side of EDG had been doing.
iBoy begging for a minion. Right here. He has one stack on the cal, just give me it. I need to recall, just give me the card. He's extending his stay on mid lane, hopefully for that one CS. Flawless might find a chance to actually punish him yet again, but I don't think iBoy is good.
So, I mean, just going back to that replay, absolutely amazing seeing Doinb going in, flashing forwards to land the damage onto iBoy, and as iBoy flashed away, that damage followed him, and it was his demise that we saw.
Yomus has been completed. Like, I'm watching some item power spikes right here because I see the hunting guys from Talia. I know what they won't have time until Rise and Kog'Maw outscaled you. Like the rapid fire cannon, this is very situational. It's only built around Caitlyn just to make sure the trades are not lost in a 1 versus 1 situation.
So here we go, we are past the 20-minute mark. Here comes Herald being channeled in the mid lane. That's the turret's already on half health, and with the Realm Warp being used by Doinb, we're going to see the turret dropping for certain. Herald still got a decent little bit of health on him as he tries to get himself a bit of damage down onto mid lane turret. He will drop eventually, but that's another small win for Rogue Warriors.
I love this decision because they do get the mid lane tower that basically splits the map in two. They are allowed to apply vision in the mid lane and actually know on which quadrant of the map Edward Gaming is, and this allows them to actually completely solve mid lane and ward the upper quadrant right behind Baron, so they can actually go and burst it.
And possibly out of concern for the potential burst that could come down to that Baron, we see the Weaver's Wall channeled by Talia just to check the pit, and nothing was going on. So at this point, EDG are safe enough, but it's going to be Talia without an ult for a little while.
With Kog'Maw and a Kha'Zix, I mean, I would give Baron 10 seconds of life expectancy. Like, you can't really leave Baron out of your sight if you're Edward Gaming. You can't really let Ray stay out of man on the bot side because he will need to recall and TP back.
Unstoppable.
And that cannot be done.
Unstoppable Onslaught does not land from Mouse, but the damage is coming through in a big way. SMLZ with his first kill of the game, courtesy of being brought down by the Abyssal Voyage. Yet another beautiful macro rotation from the side of Rogue Warriors.
That was very nicely played because they know Edward Gaming would not dare to go bot side right here and help them. So they play a 3 versus 1 mean gank on the bot side, which ends up with a free kill. And in the meantime, Edward Gaming cannot touch the Baron. They know that the teleports with the unsealed spellbook will never allow that to happen.
That Baron is going to be such a crucial part of this game, Bliss, and you're talking about how it's barely going to last 10 seconds. Well, there's a second Mountain Drake up on the Rift right now, and if the side of Rogue Warriors were to pick that up, that 10 seconds suddenly becomes 7 seconds, and the ability for EDG to have any chance of stealing it just gets lower and lower. It's going to be a second Mountain Dragon for Rogue Warriors for sure.
They're going to go and get it, and this is going to mean that slowly but surely iBoy's power spikes are being completed, but will he actually have the chance to apply them? Kog'Maw is pretty beefy. Tamkins is always by his side to make sure he won't die. And the only possible target of iBoy to destroy is Flawless, the one who is looking for iBoy in every corner of the map.
Alrighty, Flawless, he's now 2-0-2. He's got Duskblade completed on this Kha'Zix. Opposite him we see Harrow, who is not having quite such a fun time of it, running a 0-2 scoreline, going for that Warrior Enchant. He's now got himself a Phage, which I believe will probably go into a Black Cleaver. It's a bold build to go, considering he's been put so far behind.
It's definitely a bold move, and it doesn't pay off until now. While Edward Gaming will be trying to not get outscaled, Kha'Zix is going to become a monster, while physical damage Jarvan is not going to give Edward Gaming with a lot of stuff to work with. I mean, you get a tank Jarvan, you buy your team enough time, you close someone in with a Cataclysm and possibly a stopwatch if he still had it, and you actually do something for your team. But right here, his only chance is bursting someone, and there's no one squishy for the team of Rogue Warriors.
One thing that I'm slightly surprised by, Bliss, is the fact that we're seeing this 30 CS lead for the Scion against the Gangplank. I thought Gangplank would be having a better time of farming, stacking up those barrels, but actually Scion, who has been ever present everywhere on the map with his unstoppable onslaughts, is also doing a phenomenal job of getting the CS as well.
Yeah, that's the only thing he needs to worry about right now. Rogue Warriors have the luxury of not being in a rush. They can sit back, leave Edward Gaming with the anxiety of having to risk and stress out some risky plays while they sit back, they outscale, and with the first mistake, let's not forget Baron is going to be gone, so absolutely no huge moves by Rogue Warriors.
And yet again we see the Vision game being played against around the Baron, Bliss. So far, if we were to be able to see the fog of war there for the side of EDG, there is a massive, massive blind spot around the Baron. Only the one Farsight ward in the pit, and that's being cancelled by a control ward.
So right here, they pretty much guess what's going on. They know that it's Rogue Warriors waiting for a phase check. They do see SMLZ on the mid lane, and that's the reason they're not afraid. But then Abyssal Voyas is going to go for a burst. Harrow is flashing in. Let's see what's going to happen.
Alrighty, Harrow, he's stepping around the outside. Here comes the Abyssal Void. 3,000 health left on Baron, and we're going to see Harrow stuck on the outside of the pit. Baron's going to go down, secured by Kha'Zix. Now comes the fight. Realm Warp is going to be channeled. SMLZ takes it, and he goes straight in to pick up a kill onto Harrow around the outside of the pit. Mako and Scout will have to run for their lives, and that's going to be kill and Baron to Rogue Warriors.
That was the best possible way to secure Baron. Abyssal Voyas with a Kog'Maw right through. They knew there's no possible way they can react to such a play because Baron was already half HP. And despite that, you saw Harrow was very quick on his feet. He had an actual chance of stealing it. The zoning that came out from Mouse was what in the end made the Baron such an easy call for Rogue Warriors.
It was an easy call, it was an easy pickup, easy game, easy life. The side of EDG not finding it easy as Rogue Warriors take themselves a 6,000 gold lead as we approach 27 minutes. And what are they going to be able to do with this Baron buff to increase that lead?
Well, we are going to see a 1-3-1 being formed slowly but surely. Rise is going to be on the top lane with Doing B going for that tier 2 tower. And it's gonna happen too in the mid lane. Right here, 5 towers to 2. That's really not what a Caitlyn wants to see in the Hermit game.
It absolutely isn't. But those 2 turrets right now, Bliss, are all that separate Rogue Warriors from having played a perfect game at this point.
I'm not really sure on that. Like, you're playing Kog'Maw, you can't possibly keep your tower up. That was necessary sacrifice to the game plan that Rogue Warriors have, and in my eyes right now, I don't see any flaws from the team of Rogue Warriors.
Would you say that they've been flawless?
Yeah, I would say that, and I knew you would say that. I would say that, but flawless or not, there's still half game that we haven't seen. There's still a lot of time that Edward Gaming can turtle back. They can sit into their own base with the traps, with a lot of disengage by Janna, and of course, Gangplank having that wave clear. So the Baron buff is the only window of opportunity for Rogue Warriors to enter and penetrate that base. If they don't, they're gonna have to wait for another 7 minutes.
So 1 minute left on the Baron. We see Sion has gone down to the bottom half of the map. Meanwhile, the rest of the Rogue Warriors team are quite split up. And it's going to be interesting to see if they can push anything up in this next 50 seconds. Because if they don't, could be looking at that 7-minute timer you're talking about there, Bliss.
Funnily enough, Mako's decision to go for the Ardent Sensor is actually costing Edward Gaming a lot, because with the lack of a Locket of the Iron Solari or a Redemption, they lack a lot of combat stats into the team fight, which of course can make all the difference in the world.
Mouse joins his team in the mid lane. There are a lot of Caitlyn traps trying to zone Rogue Warriors away from this inhibitor turret, but meanwhile look at the top lane. Every single push we see Doyen B, he's managing to push the lane up. Talia's having to go and deal with that, but at least the Cogmore's being kept away from the turrets.
That's really the one thing they have to do, but while it's happening, you do see control wards swarming the jungle of Edward Gaming, and every little resource in the jungle of Edward Gaming being stolen away and deprived, so Rogue Warriors can faster outscale and reach the point that they're no longer sufferable.
Okay, it is currently a real assault on all fronts of EDG's base. They are down to only their inhibitor turrets, inhibitors, Nexus, and the Nexus itself. And with Rogue Warriors desperately wanting that 50 gold for claiming the Nexus to take this first win, EDG finding themselves having to stall out as SMLZ takes a dragon all by himself.
Ocean Drake is a really happy outcome for Edward Gaming. I'd say they're pretty lucky about that. They're not lucky about the Guardian Angel being completed. Neither for the Infinity Edge SMLZ chose to itemize with, which is definitely something new. We don't see it that much. It's something that changed in the latest patches with the changes we saw in Kog'Maw, but definitely that makes SMLZ a very threatening pick to worry about.
We're 30 minutes in and we're going to be seeing quite an early Eld Dragon. The timing of when Kog'Maw took that Ocean Dragon does mean that we're going to see pretty much one of the earliest possible Elds we could see, and that certainly isn't quite such good news for EDG.
If I didn't know better, I would say SMLZ intentionally killed the dragon at 30 minutes and 1 second just to time the Elder Dragon as soon as possible.
It's almost like he's a pro player who knew what he was doing, Bliss.
Who knew?
Who knew?
The question is this Elder Dragon gonna backfire, or will it be the final nail in the coffin for Edward Gaming?
Well, it's going to spawn at a very different time to Baron. So with the control that Rogue Warriors have in this game at the minute, with the 9,000 gold lead, the two Mountain Dragons and the Ocean Dragon on top of all of that, they're not going to have to worry about splitting their attention between Elder and Baron. As we see iBoy having to worry about a big chunk of his health being eaten up by that living artillery.
And he has to worry about it in 80% of critical strike for Kog'Maw. Like SMLZ, it's really hard for him to not crit, and it's the only chance for iBoy to possibly win a 1 versus 1 until to this point.
So what are we looking at? We see iBoy, he's got Infinity Edge, Rapid Fire Cannon, Static Shiv, and he's also got himself that last Whisper completed now. However, Infinity Edge and Rage Blade, Runan's Rapid Fire Cannon, and some Ninja Tabby for a little bit of defense as well on the Kog'Maw. He's got a Vampiric Scepter in there, just to round it all off lovely.
The 5 traps in the mid lane really are a stalemate for Rogue Warriors. There's not a lot they can do about that. I wouldn't be surprised if Ninja Tabi was actually picked up right here by iBoy, because he needs the extra combative stats against Kog'Maw. He needs that extra half second to deal some more damage. And no, it's going to be a Bloodthirster.
Yes.
Which does basically the same thing, but with lifesteal and more damage. So it's definitely a bigger priority.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense for iBoy to be going that route, but does mean he still hasn't upgraded those slightly magical boots. I don't know how many times, Bliss, I've seen a team with a Ryze and a Kog'Maw, teams that really wanted to scale up, sitting on the back foot, turtling. Well, right now it is quite the opposite that we are seeing. We see them desperately trying to push into the base of EDG. Well, EDG are the ones trying to turtle themselves. SMLZ is on the other side of the Baron pit, just raining down damage, and that Baron is gone in seconds.
5 seconds. Do we have a world record?
It's certainly pretty quick.
LPL production, can you give us the world record on fastest Baron?
Well, certainly
It's going to be on its way.
Certainly for 32 minutes into a game, it is a very, very fast Baron, and those 2 Mountain Dragons and that super strong Cogmore didn't hurt matters at all for the side of Rogue Warriors, who have got the big purple worm buff again.
You don't really need to worry about ending the game with a Baron when you know you're going to have the next one, and the next one after that too. So 2 Barons completely free for Rogue Warriors. The Elder Dragon will be coming up too, just in case, but right here, all they have to do is penetrate 1 tower, and 4 items being completed by Mouse. I am expecting that Banner of Command and the heavy engage coming right after. Oh,
let's see when we get that engage. Just finally, the inhibitor turrets have been cracked, and this time it's SMLZ in the top lane who takes out that turret. Could we finally see an engage coming out of EDG?
Is that a flank?
This is, well, what it is it's going to be the Abyssal Voyage taking SMLZ down to the bot lane to take down another turret. Now we've got the fight. SMLZ with so many shields taking Ray lower and lower. The inhibitor turret, the inhibitor is now going to be the next target. Weaver's Wall has split up the side of Rogue Warriors slightly, but only for a small amount of time, and SMLZ is so safe. But Mako goes lower and lower. Ivory with shields for days at the moment, but he's not able to get the damage out. Inhibitors are going down on every angle that we can see right now. They're all exposed. All the inhibitor turrets drop, the first inhibitor falls, and EDG are losing their base.
Damn, Network Gaming are being left with crumbles into their own base. Like, Flawless is splitting onto the top side. That Baron buff is being applied all over the base of Edward Gaming, and right now, there's only 2 Nexus towers between Rogue Warriors and Game 1.
A couple of days ago on our cast, I was singing a little bit of Bee Gees because the team were just about staying alive. But right now, I think I might have to start singing Imagine Dragons because EDG are bleeding out.
And 40 seconds until Elder Dragon spawns. Like, Rogue Warriors, let's be clear, they do not even need that. But they can be sure that they get that clear result, that very easy win with 0 risk by taking it. Because right now, realistically, Edward Gaming have absolutely no way of stealing it, with the exception of a possible cannon barrage and the huge miss smite.
It would take a cataclysmic error, completely intentional pun with a Jarvan in the game, for the side of Rogue Warriors not to secure this Baron. But we saw it the other day. We saw an unstoppable onslaught of all things steal a Baron. If an Elder Dragon goes down to Cannon Barrage, wow, I'll go crazy.
So there it is. Pretty much Edward Gaming know their only chance is stealing this or stealing the 3rd Baron that's gonna come, because right here Baron buff is expiring. So they're only gonna have Elder Dragon, but they also have 3 inhibitor lanes showing through. And Rogue Warriors need to end here because they're losing a lot of farm.
Super minions pushing in every wave. We've got a fiery storm with the Elder Dragon buff on all the members of Rogue Warriors. EDG are holding on by their fingernails. Here comes the Realm Warp. It's going to deliver nobody closer to the side of EDG. But there's the Weaver's Wall. It's splitting up the side of Rogue Warriors. But 1 Nexus turret's already dropped. The second one will fall as well. We've got an exposed Nexus. The fight is breaking out, but no one's died just yet. Mouse manages to pick up a kill. It's actually going to be Cogmore getting 1. The Nexus turret is gone. The Nexus dropping lower and lower. And at 36 minutes into the game, we are going to see Game 1 going to Rogue Warriors.
Rob, an absolutely beastly performance by the team of Rogue Warriors. They pick up the best possible scaling composition they could have, and they execute that flawlessly.
It was as close to a perfect game as you could expect from a Cogmore composition, Bliss, and it's going to be so hard for EDG to bounce back from that in Game 2.
Red build Cogmore is a new blue build Ezreal. So stay up for it. It's the new fashion coming out. Cogmore just destroying everything. Do not really understand how he can actually survive a laning phase versus such an aggressive jungler, a roaming mid laner, and Caitlyn Janna on his head.
The teams head backstage and we head to a small break. We'll be back with Game 2 very shortly.